Hey everyone, this is Flash Shelton. I am your squatter hunter, and this is Squatter Talk Live, Squatter Talk Tuesdays. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to just get right into it. Thank you for joining me, sticking with me. Those of you who do your best to join me every week, thank you so much. And I will do my best to join you as well. So today's topic is tenants versus squatter. It's very important to know the difference and know that there sometimes, even though they are different, you do need to treat them the same. Um, I have to treat them very differently. I have to be extremely careful when I'm dealing with a tenant. So I wanted to talk about the differences and what makes a tenant and a squatter, because I've said before, like squatters and squatter rights. Squatter rights that have started in the 1800s really has nothing to do with squatters that we have today. So I want to make it very clear that squatters aren't actually taking advantage of squatter rights. They're taking advantage of tenant rights in today's day and age. So I think it's important for you to know. And also, when you're contacting me and your expectations need to be based on, are you dealing with a squatter? Are you dealing with a tenant? Because I have to, in many ways, treat them completely separate. And again, I have to know when to treat them the same. Okay. So, right off the bat, let's just talk about what makes a tenant and a squatter. Okay. Now, first of all, anyone that has permission to enter your home is never considered a squatter. Anyone who enters a rental property could be your residence. They could be coming and you could be offering your couch for a few days. They are not a squatter. They would be considered, if push came to shove and everything happened, a tenant because you gave them permission to enter. Even a tenant that writes you a bad check, signs a lease with you, and you hand over the keys to them, you are giving them permission to enter the home. Therefore, they are a tenant. Okay. A squatter, if you want to talk about squatters and like my website and how I talk about my videos and dealing with squatters, are based on people that entered your home without permission. They entered, they broke in, somehow the door was left unlocked or whatever, and they come up with a fake lease or whatever. Those are people that we are fighting for to try to separate them out, treat them as a squatter. For example, if you call me and say, hey, someone just like entered my home unauthorized, I haven't called the police yet, I haven't approached them yet, can you handle it? Well, about 99% of the time in that case, I can literally go lock them out. Okay. But you call me about a tenant and you say, hey, Flash, this tenant paid one check for 1 month, or never paid a month because their check bounced. I haven't called law enforcement. I haven't started civil process. Can you take care of them? I can't lock them out. No matter what, no matter if you call me first, I can never lock out a tenant. Okay. So when I start working for you with a non-paying tenant, I am starting out working for you as a mediator because I am trying to mediate the situation and I am trying to get them to give me a vacate agreement based on certain factors. Sometimes, they actually will thank me. I have emails and text messages from tenants thanking me that have been going through this whole process with homeowners for a long time, and they're at odds and they're fighting and they're arguing and they're like filing restraining orders on each other. And then I get involved and they're actually thanking me for helping them put it behind them. Okay. I am working as your mediator in those situations with the tenant. Okay. With a squatter, I will, in some cases, depending on the situation, how long it's been going on, how they got in there in the first place. If you've already started civil action, there's a lot of different things. With a squatter, I may also start out the process as a mediator for you and be like, look, you might want to be famous, but you don't want to be famous like this, and kind of use that. And it's pretty effective. But I can never lock out a tenant. Okay. Now, squatters, sometimes I can lock out a squatter. Okay. So the details matter. Okay. Whether it's a tenant or a squatter, the details are so important. Okay. I have to be very careful, not only to protect myself, but to protect you as the homeowner. Everything that I do or say is crucial, including everything that you do or say. And that's why if you work with me, you're going to know that the first thing I'm going to tell you is you can no longer communicate with your tenant. You can no longer communicate with your squatter, because I'm going to be the mediator now and I'm doing the communication. Okay. Because if you say the wrong thing, you could undermine everything I'm doing. And I am the one that is doing this, a lot, and have, and I'm learning as I go. I learn every day. I mean, different situations. And believe me, I have not found a single squatter or tenant that is exactly the same. Yes, I can say certain characteristics of them are the same, like being entitled, being a narcissistic person. I mean, I can find different things that I can lump them in a group, but oh my gosh, the personalities and the just the situation and the it's all different. And some are very, very easy and some are very, very challenging. And I have to be able to just process it and take it and figure it out and try to find something that's going to work for that particular situation. But number one, safety, legalities, health. Got to make sure that no one's getting hurt. I have to make sure that no one's getting sued. I have to make sure that nobody gets hurt, right? Safety, health, safety, health, and law. Okay. Those three things are crucial. So, now, tenant, squatter, you as the homeowner, you have been told that your squatter has to be treated like a tenant. And that's 100% true, because once they have residency, you have a tenant. Okay. And that goes for pretty much all states. It just varies on when they create tenancy. So you have to treat a tenant and a squatter. You have to go into every situation just expecting to treat them the same way. Okay. Now, reaching out to me, the difference would be, I would tell you, if it's a tenant, you can start the civil process because it does not hamper me in any way. But if it's a squatter, a true squatter, someone that didn't have your permission, I say reach out to me first before you start the civil process. I've done a video about it. You have to be careful, because when you start the civil process, when it's somebody that doesn't have residency and isn't already a tenant, you're basically giving them their rights as a tenant as soon as you start a tenant eviction. Okay. So if you're in doubt whether your intruder is a tenant or squatter, reach out to me and let's do a consult, and I will let you know what they are and how they should be treated. And if I feel that you can go and file for, the civil process and start the eviction process, at that point, my goal and my job is to make that eviction process go faster. Okay. So I work alongside your eviction process, because the goal is to not have it take 6 months, 8 months, a year, going through that long process. And so I work alongside it. When it's a squatter, we want to treat them like a squatter, and we want our actions to allow us to treat them as a squatter as long as humanly possible. Okay. So that is the goal with the squatters. But, so a tenant, somebody who, had permission, right? Had permission to enter. A squatter did not have permission to enter. As much as you think, oh my gosh, this guy's a freeloading squatter, he's probably a freeloading tenant. Okay. Truth. All right. So, but you need to understand the differences and what's the same. And the same is that a squatter and a tenant, in most places, once they establish residency, they are a tenant and they have a civil process. And, I just do what I can to try to disrupt that as far as negotiating to make it happen sooner. Get them to want to vacate, see that, it's time to make the right decision, make the right choice, and stop hurting other people. So that's where I come in. It's very successful at it. I can never guarantee anything, but I guarantee my effort and, and the results happen. But, so I just wanted to do this today because, I've had somebody that recently, basically trying to stop me from what I'm doing through the court process, filing and telling a bunch of stuff about how I do this and I do that and I do this and that and whatever. And it's all false because, saying that the things that I do for a squatter are not the same things that I do for a tenant or a non-paying tenant. So, so it's clear to know the difference. I mean, it's important to know the difference, and again, just be careful because you as the homeowner can get, you can get in trouble if you go through and treat a squatter like a squatter. And then they all of a sudden prove that no, according to the law of that state, they are a tenant. There are fines and penalties, and you've seen people get arrested literally for doing certain things with their squatters and tenants. Now, there was a situation a little while back where a homeowner got arrested simply by changing her locks, right? And the truth is, there's just a way to do it. And, what you want to do in those situations is you want to bring law enforcement in to assist you because most states, it is illegal for a tenant or a squatter to change the locks and keep the homeowner out. So the idea is that you give the 24-hour, the 48-hour, you have to look at your state and see what the requirement is, notice that you're going to enter. And then if you show up and you show up with, you ask law enforcement to do something that's called, and different agencies call it different, but some agencies will call it a civil standby. Okay. And they basically come, and another department recently for me called it it was a keep the peace. Okay. And basically you have them, they show up, they go with you, you try the key in the door, you knock on the door, you announce yourself, you try the key, it doesn't open. Now you can use law enforcement to help you with opening that lock, getting a locksmith out. They will let your tenant know or your squatter know that it's against the law for them to change the lock without giving you a key. And then they will help facilitate that. Okay. So, if you have any questions about squatter versus tenant, particular to like your situation, feel free to comment in the video. I always do my best to reply to comments and things like that. I'm going to try to hit, some of the comments and questions today. Today's comments and chat was open to anyone. It was not based on member only today. So I will go and check and see what I have for that and try to answer as many questions and comments as I can. So feel free. And again, you can comment after this live becomes a video, and I always go in and try to communicate and talk with and respond and like comments and things like that. And I will even debate something if it's an intelligent conversation. But I don't have time for anything negative or insults. It's if you're not making any sense whatsoever, then I'm not going to waste my time with it. But anyway, so I always try. So if you joined this late, this will repeat, and if you if you want, you can also wait for it to become a video, and it will be go public as a video. Yeah, so I'm going to get to comments and questions right now. Let's take this thing off here, and let's see what we got. Okay, 3 times just said, "Hey Flash, thanks for sharing." Thank you for joining me. I appreciate being able to do this. I appreciate that I even have this platform to talk, because everyone that knows me knows that I can talk. And so here I am talking. Basically, I'm by myself right now. I'm by myself, and anybody looking in would be like, this dude's talking to himself. And the truth is, I'm like sitting here talking to myself, talking to a screen, but I can justify it because this platform gives me an opportunity to be able to talk to myself. So anyway, exciting things coming up. I'm not really going to talk about any cases today. There are cases going on all over the place, and sometimes I just need to decompress, and I just need to, I need a jacuzzi. That's what I need. I think I need a jacuzzi like smack dab right in my living room. So like football season, I could watch my Steelers sitting there with a drink in my hand and some hot jets on my back and neck. That would be awesome. Like, I could just go downstairs and jump in a jacuzzi, be like, oh, that's how I want to wind my day up. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. That's going to be it for tonight. But love you all. And, I just have to say it. If you have an intruder of any kind, be careful. Don't put your life in danger. It's property. Don't risk your life or your family's. Call law enforcement. Use them for the one thing that they can help you with, and that is safety. Let them assess the situation. Make sure it is safe. But the moment they tell you it's a civil matter and there's nothing we can do, that's when you want to get a hold of me, squatterhunters.com. And let's try to figure out an outside the box, solution for you. Thank you again for joining me. This is Flash. Stay safe now. Take care.